September 17th, 2018, call to order this special meeting, 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Jack Bodeker,
Here.
Gary Holbert,
Here.
Dan Morrissey,
Here.
Karen Pipes, here, Mark Tucker,
Here.
all accounted for.
One line item for this meeting, special meetings do so. Entertain a motion to third and final reading of ordinance 2018-14.
Go for
I
it.
make a motion.
Go for it. You
I
said
haven't
14.
Yeah, 2018-14.
Well, it says
I'd
go
like to
for it.
make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move that we remove from consideration ordinance 2018-14.
Second.
I've heard a motion to remove and a second. Motion by Mark, second by Susan. Karen, I mean. All those in favor, say.
I'd like to have a discussion before we vote. That's how the rules of order normally go.
I believe
We
the
can't have a
rules, and I could be wrong, state court says is when ordinances are in second reading, they have public comment. Is that correct?
You can.
This isn't public comment, this is comment.
If you would like to make your state, I'll be more than willing to listen to that.
All right, I am for removing consideration for this for the following reason. One is that, first of all, this is not a redistricting, it's a districting. We do not have districts right now. And if we're going to district the town, the last time it was done was the last time it was certified, I believe, was 1995. I think that the makeup of the town has changed significantly since that time. We need to do some sort of population study before we enact this. It's the first thing. The second thing is I question the timing of all of this to begin with. Especially the third reading was supposed to take place as stated at the last council meeting in the first work session in October. They got moved up. I'm not sure what the reason is, but I can only guess that it was to affect the upcoming caucus on Thursday. Which to me seems that we're tampering with the legislative process or the electoral process of getting people involved in town council. It's almost, the people that are available or coming up for consideration during the caucus were required to file over a week ago. And a week ago, we were a at-large community. Anybody could file. So now, we're gonna, after the fact, after that time lives up, we're gonna come back and say, well, no, only certain people can apply to be on town council. I think that's wrong. It almost leans towards gerrymandering, where we're setting up districts to predict an outcome. The redistricting itself, Jack, I'm understanding that you initiated this.
Yes, sir.
You came up with the boundaries.
No, sir.
How did we establish these boundaries?
The boundaries that were never established, other than there was one variation from a map that was supposedly drawn up for reasons that were unclaimed, unknown. I had Mr. Martin look into that, and that's how it became up. Now you're gonna research to the section. Go ahead.
We have, I believe we have filed with the county clerk what the last districts were. And when you look at the state statute, when there is a conflict that exists between maps showing boundaries of districts and the description of the districts, the description always takes precedence over any maps. So again, I asked, where did the boundaries come from? Who established those? Was that you?
Established in 1971 in an ordinance before
Okay,
some.
you're right, those were
Okay.
established. I'm talking about the changes.
There was no changes established, was there, and record
Actually,
recording
we
stuff?
are. I mean, the whole thing in question is whether or not you reside within the district you were elected to represent.
I defer to the legal counsel, as that's, the facts were stated to me as.
Yeah, when your street, your neighborhood was annexed in, the annexation ordinance didn't establish a ward. So all that we have to go off of are the certified election results, the caucus that appointed you, and then the ensuing election where you were voted into office. And those are the records we have to go on. Mr. Tucker is absolutely correct that what you'd be doing tonight would be establishing the districts, whether or not that map reflects the prior outcome of the elections, can only be determined by looking at the records, and those are the records that you have.
Okay, and my point being that is, this is apparently, in my eyes, done to ensure that the boundary, you fall within Ward or District 4. And you initiated this, this ordinance, and I find that troubling, and in the fact that in the ordinance itself, it states, current town council member shall continue to hold office until term for which the town council member was elected expired under state law. So essentially, you're changing the boundaries to protect yourself. You've initiated it. To me, this is a huge conflict of interest.
That's not why I initiated it.
And that's the way it appears.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. President, may I speak?
Yes, you may.
I can tell you that, and previous clerk is here tonight, that these boundaries have been looked at every time we've had an annexation. They're based, and always have been, all 5 wards off population, not geographical necessarily area, trying to balance the population count. That's why you didn't see a lot of them change, because there wasn't any really significant change in the population, even in the areas, because most of it was farm field that has been annexed in since that time. In his case, I can tell you that when this came up, when Mike Crawley resigned, and what was told to us by the clerk, county clerk, was that 3rd Street, which turns into Popular, the center of the road, that was a continuation of the street. He was in the right ward, even back then, because we asked that question back at that particular time. Am I not correct, Janice?
Yes. Yes.
So, with that, and looking at the annexation ordinance that was done whenever that area was annexed in and the homes was built, there was never anything stated otherwise into that. In other words, they were not put into a ward. That's why, and we've always had wards, and if all this deal with, going totally at large, if it's such a great idea, then I think the whole county council, county commissioners, they ought to do it. Maybe we ought to even do our state representatives the same way. Because for the issues that I've heard about people wanting representation, in the same block, because of somebody's smarter than the next person, then we need to do the same thing for all the state government, county, if that's the issue. What really came up out of this, which was called to our attention, was when it was asked by, I believe, the Main Street Board about district maps, and why, I don't know, then we found out that the state legislators had changed this law where if you were under a certain population, you had to change this year before November the 8th, had to be totally done. You had to decide if you wanted to be totally at large, can't have any wards, are wards, period. We've always had wards to try to give representation in this small town to areas, in every area in the town. That's why we are doing this.
Any comments on that, Ed?
I do.
Go ahead.
Well, listen, folks, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I've lived here 61 years. And I want somebody to represent me when I come to bat. And for that reason, and that reason is a good one for me, I want to keep them the way they are. End of story.
Okay.
I think the struggle the last 3 years with this council and this government has truly been about what we've always done it that way. That's all we've ever heard. And I think you have a robust group of citizens that have done, you got two robust groups of citizens that stepped forward when the town didn't, took care of the park and made it beautiful. You got a group of citizens and business owners who stepped up and said, you know what, we want our Main Street designation. We want to do this. And you're citing a past administration that has several errors we've uncovered to the tune of almost $1.2 million in fiscal errors, let alone not knowing if they certified the right ward. So I have an issue saying we should do it the way we've always done it, because that's the way we've always done it. The fact is, the wards separate a really small town. And the fact is, school boards just this year have had a hard time getting people to run. What's it gonna be like? We have two great people who signed up to run in the caucus Thursday, which I think is great. But you have a lot of people that you could take advantage of having a lot of people run for office if it wasn't divided. So I think, you know, if we're gonna rest on our laurels that it's always been done that way, that's what I've heard for 3 years. And we make minimal progress in moving forward because we have to do it the same old way. And I think that's a sad state to move forward in.
Another moment, please.
Yes, sir.
In lieu of this, anyone in town can run. So this idea that you can't run because you're in, you can. If you're in a ward, everybody can run. Everyone in the whole town votes for all those people that's on that ballot. It's not like somebody's getting cut out of that, which is kind of the drift that I heard there.
Before I take a vote on abolishment of this ward, which I'm really surprised came up, or this ordinance, excuse me, of wards, I've never served this town for myself. Not once. And nor will I. Conflict of interest? I say not. Not from my point of view.
And I ask, why didn't you talk to any
Sir,
of us?
sir, let me finish. Okay? There came a point in time, 3 or 4 months ago, that somebody came and asked me a question about this, and I answered it. I could not find any ordinances about at-large. And then it came up again, and I found out that, yeah, you're at-large until the end of the year, and this legislative board has the choice for the town to either keep wards or stay at large. And I asked, well, could we be like other county governments or other city governments where you have wards and at large? No, the rule is all one way, all the other. I understand that I've spoke to both sides of the parties, which I do not like this, anything being a political fight. If you'll ask anybody in this community or anybody on this board or anybody in this county or state that's dealt with me, I'm not about politics. I did not do this for the Democratic Party, and I will not do it for the Republican Party. I do it for the community and the constituency. Tonight, and just like 2 nights before, I've read this ordinance and looked at it and talked to a lot of people. And a lot of people understand that we have different points of view on a lot of other things, whether it's wards, whether it's financials, whether it's trash, whatever those things might be. There's times that we're going to see straight together, and I wish that was all the time, and there's times that we're not. This ordinance was brought forth for the terms of the town to have representation for sections of the town, to leave it the way it's been for as long as I can remember. The interpretations of where a ward might be, if that needs to be taken care of and the population changes in quarters of the town, and you want to be like a state legislation and start legislation that says we're going to move this district around or we're going to move this around, I'm sure there's state laws that according to that, and I could be wrong, and I defer every question that I have to any legal substances to the town attorney. And I did that with every bit of this in consideration. Not within consideration on my own terms. Yeah, it was brought to light to me that there was something that was flying down low and I didn't see that. Now, without any further comment, we had a motion by Mark and a second by Karen to abolish ordinance 2018-14 on wards. All those in favor say aye.
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 2 ayes. All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. 3 opposed.
I make a motion that we move to third and final reading and adoption of ordinance 2018-14.
Motion by Dan to adopt and read by title only, and motion third reading and title only in ordinance 2018-14. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Gary. Roll call, please.
Jack Bodeker,
Aye.
Gary Holbert,
Aye.
Karen Pipes,
No.
Dan Wonderseed,
Aye.
Mark Tucker,
No.
3 ayes, 2 nays.
Motion carried. It's officially 6:17. Close this meeting, special meeting for 2018, September 17th.
Jack?
Yeah, all
Yeah,
members.
motion to close the meeting.
Yes, motion to close the meeting, please.
Who's making?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Gary, second by Dan. All those in favor, aye, close the meeting. Aye. Opposed? Abstain- Three ayes, 2 nays, motion carried. Officially 6:18. Yes.
Come down here for this bullshit.
We got 214 people on board.
We couldn't speak?
No, that was at the last one. You were allowed to speak at the last one. But this is the third, it's state law, you can't on the third one. Sorry, but that's the way it is.
They wouldn't listen to you anyway.
What's that?
They don't wanna listen.
But it's not about.
Thanks,
I can walk the all 5 ways in 15 minutes.
This whole town is the most homogeneous place I've ever lived in my life. So,
No, that's too bad.
Writer picture.
Hi dear, how are you?
How are you?
Back here in the corner?
Yeah, she has to sit in the corner. She did.
I know. That's ain't the first time. I'm good.
I just, when I moved here, when I moved back to Compton years ago, I thought,
Yeah.
what the hell we got this for?
Yeah, I saw, I don't see Lisa very much, but we talk to each other. But because we do different things, so.
Got my census stuff.
Me and Richard
today. I
spent
didn't know we were
a couple hours in there yesterday,
Check this out.
and I was like, man, we got a lot done, because it takes a lot of time. You gotta check, heart claim. I said, oh my goodness. I had to write some checks for.
These are the number of people I should
Well, it's up, like, I gotta go, like Lisa dropped off,
that would actually
we're doing assistance for a couple of people, and she dropped off the, maybe the landlord's agreement. So she dropped those off last night. She said, whenever you get to these, I'm gonna write a check. I was like, I'll do it tonight.
I don't wanna be.
So that was funny, so. No, I do all the checks. She just gets the stuff ready.
Mayor Richmond last year, the guy that they used
She gets all the paperwork of that work, and she has to get everybody to sign it. The landlord agrees that, you know, we're gonna pay it, you know, just get it there. And, I try to do it pretty efficiently, but, so like last night, she has 2 ready. So, I said, okay, I'm ready, I'll do it tonight, but that doesn't take very long. I'm running into like, I got a letter from the US Bank